Okay, so I have gotten a lot of questions on how exactly are we going to do this, how are we going to take our country back, and what's it going to look like. I've also had several questions or several people tell me, look, I'm working with guys, but they're so spaced out, and you know, they're over here, these guys are over here, and nobody's really wanting to work together, and they're just not seeing what's coming. And I kind of addressed that in another video, but today what we're going to talk about is how we put all the pieces together and what it is that I am doing right now. Hello, my name is Arthur and I'm the CEO and founder of Tackleberry Solutions. We teach wartime tactics to citizens for self-defense purposes. And today we're going to talk about what it is that I am doing at this phase. Today is the 20th of September 2020 and we're going to talk about what I am doing right now and what the overall picture should kind of look like, and that hopefully will give some of you guys a little bit of help in what it is that you need to kind of be doing. And we're also going to address a few other little questions that I have gotten from other people through email. So like the first one is, why are you always standing in the woods? Well, that's pretty simple, man. I have kids and I live on a farm, and this is the only place I can go to be left the hell alone. That's simple. It's the only place where everybody can shut the hell up for 5 minutes so I can do this. All right, next question. Let's look at the bigger picture. The only way we're going to actually take our country back once everything goes sideways, because for most of you guys, if you're watching this, you've kind of come to the conclusion that, well, we're not voting our way out of this one. And it really doesn't matter what happens come November 3rd. It's not going to be good either way. We're going to follow ourselves into a civil war very quickly, mostly because the other side wants it too bad. And quite frankly, the other side has already completely openly said that this is a revolution, this is war. Take them for their word, man. People don't usually throw that kind of crap around loosely. Now, what am I doing in preparation at this point? I've already established commanders in certain areas because I have the same issue that a lot of you guys do, and that I've got people that are listening, but they live 10, 15 minutes away from me. Well, I've established a communications network that can definitely talk that far. Well, now I'm getting them to establish a communications network where they are that can also talk back to me. Now, the initial thought was, well, we'll just be able to send QRF. We can send information. That's great. And then, yeah, that is a total purpose, and that's going to happen. So if my guys up here get hit in, say, Rones Chapel's 10 minutes from me. These guys get hit at Rones Chapel, right? I can send my QRF up there to help with them when they get hit. But mostly these guys can send information back and forth to me. So, hey, we're seeing this over here. What are you guys seeing up there? And we're sharing information. So if we have game bangers all around, because if you think about it, and I'm right in what we feel like is coming, and that has been confirmed through several other sources. Several other sources now have said the same thing. And we have a cyber attack and the grid goes down for 2-3 months. You're going to have prisoners cut loose. You're going to have guys let loose out of the jails. Nobody's going to want to show up to work. It's going to be Bosnia all over again. Study the Bosnian War, you'll see what I'm talking about. So you have these Roman gangs going around hitting people. We need to be able to share information. Whether it's gangs, UN soldiers, freaking aliens from Mars. It doesn't matter. We need to be able to share information openly about what we're seeing, how many there are, what are they driving, what's their weakness, how can you hit them, things of that, and what time of day. That kind of information is going to make a huge, huge impact on how you do day-to-day operations for your area. That's the reason why communications was so vital, and that was the #1 priority for me, was to get these guys a communication system that can talk back to me. Now, I'm also using recon teams, but because VHF is a little tricky around here, and it's not going to get me much past, 15 to 20 miles with a vehicle-mounted system, they'd have to stop and put up a Flex J and all this other stuff. I decided to go a different route. I went with a CB. It's actually technically an HF. Yeah, they're still having to stop and throw up a dipole, but it's in a backpack. So they can be mounted or dismounted, and they're on a whole separate radio system, whole separate net from my VHF systems that I've got talking around to all these other groups. The third thing I did was then I took guys that were in this area, say Rollins Chapel for an example, and I said, hey, congratulations, you're now the commander here. I need you to start networking with your local farmers so you can have a food supply, and you need to start going to your churches. Guys, that's how we're going to rebuild this, okay? The manpower is going to come through the local churches, because those people are absolutely every bit as concerned about this, and they're sitting there going, holy crap, look at Revelations. Because a lot of the crap that's in Revelations is literally transpiring right now. So the local churches, these people are going to be willing to work. You may not get all of them, but you might get one or two. And that'll be enough. One or two here, one or two there, and you'll eventually have a QRF. So I'm telling these guys, look, congratulations, you're now the commanding officer for Rollins Chapel. I need you to go around and start networking. I need you to do what I've already done in my area. I need you to go out there. I need you to talk to these people and start trying to figure out how you can build a team and who's going to work together with you. Y'all need to start training. I got some manuals for you. Here you go. I'm going to send my DAF guys over there, or my recon guys over there. They're going to train you guys up. You'll be freaking, red tight in no time. And you need to start guarding stuff. You need to guard the churches because a couple different reasons. One, we need to be able to have a voice of hope. Irregardless of what's going on around us, we need a voice of hope. Two, these are going to be buildings of refuge. I mean, can you really think of a better place to do refuge? You usually have multiple classrooms, a public bathroom, oh yeah, and a kitchen. Almost every church, at least in my area, has a kitchen, which is where we're going to be, hey, we're going to feed the people that come up here. Do not be afraid to take in refugees, because guess what? That's more manpower. Hey, you want to eat? Great. You're going to learn how to sew. There's a sewing machine. You're going to learn how to do this. You're going to do that. You guys are going to be pulling OP duty. Anybody, trained, untrained, can sit there in a dang tree stand and go, holy crap, I see somebody, some headlights are coming. It's too dang easy. You can put anybody in that a tree stand or some kind of an OP position. Look at our freaking online neighborhood guardian course. Tell you everything you need to know about that. Anybody can do that, and all they have to do is, hey, look, here comes somebody. I'll tell you right now, I'm not doing TCPs. I know I've talked about TCPs. I know that I have talked and even teach you how to do TCPs in our manuals. I'm not doing that. I have opted for a different way of doing it, because TCPs here in this area, a little too difficult. If I was living in a more desert open area, a TCP wouldn't be as bad. A mountainous terrain, TCP wouldn't be too bad. But here, I got roads going every which way, and it's looping around swamps and mess, and there's 20 different roads, and it's just too many TCPs, too much manpower, and I just don't have it. So what I'm doing is something different. I'm doing what's known as a spider web method. I'm actually putting guys in tree stands or guys on the ground in TC and OPs and behind the Yeti nets and mess. I'm putting guys that are roaming guards on bicycles, riding up and down the road on bicycles. We're doing all kinds of crap like that. And these guys are doing nothing but eyes and ears. They don't have to engage. I'd actually prefer they didn't, because if they do engage somebody, not only do they now know what they're shooting with, how far they can shoot, but they also know where they are. And relocating an OPLP or some kind of an overwatch position like that is a little bit more difficult. So there's only so many places you can put it to where it can actually observe the high avenue of approach, i.e. the road. So instead, I'm just letting them sit them under the radio, and yeah, they've got their personal weapon to protect them in the event they're attacked. They can hold down some fire till QRF can get there, but I'm letting them come on in. Come on in. Meanwhile, my QRF standing up, they're rolling out. QRF's going to jump them. They're going to hit them. Now I have the ability to assess, are these good guys, these bad guys? Do I want to take them out and just take their crap? Or do I want to set them free and just tell them, you need to go away? And all they know is QRF came out of nowhere and just hit them. And yeah, they were using vehicles, and yeah, there was a lot of them. And quickly, they formed an L around us, and we had no way to survive it. So that's all they're going to know. But they're not going to know how you knew that they were coming. Eventually, they're going to be smart anyway. Well, they must have had an OP position somewhere. Somebody's out here spotting us. Well, where are they? It's still going to save that OP a little bit longer. That is called a spiderweb method. The beautiful thing about that is if they're bad guys, you hit them hard as hell. There's no chance for them to survive it, and now you've got all their crap. That's why it's the spiderweb method, man. So that's what I'm doing on an individual level. On a larger scale, what we're doing is, like I told you earlier, I got a guy at Rollins Chapel. So Scott Stewart, Rollins Chapel, Albertson, et cetera, right? And I'm talking to all these different people in the areas, and I'm telling them, you need to go coordinate. You need to coordinate with your farmers. I'm coordinating with other farmers. Hey, look, here's the deal. You do what you can with the manpower you had to protect your area, and just put eyes out there. Don't worry about engaging anybody. Just put eyes out there. My QRF will handle it. If they see somebody trying to break into your hog house, just radio us. We'll run over there and we'll hit them. And the thing is most of these farmers already have some kind of a radio system, VHF, set up. It won't be too hard for somebody with a ham radio, like a TYT 78 or 9800, to pop in their number and monitor their number and monitor their frequency. And so they can keep on the radio systems they already have. Hey, there's somebody breaking into the hog house. Sweet, we're sending QRF right now. And they can just run over there and hit them. Spiderweb. It's just, we've extended a spiderweb now. Plus, I'm training local people that so we have a trailer park right over here that's highly Hispanic, and they work at the local Butterball, right? You really think they're going to be working? Probably not. Idle hands, the devil's playground. The other thing is, I can either fight those people or I can fight with those people. So I can either supply the food to them and they work with me or for me, or I could try to hold what I got and have to kill all of them. And guys, that's a lot of ammunition and a lot of firefights, and I may or may not make it. So it's better for me to go over there and clean out the riffraff quick, train those guys, and start using them. There's half my force right there. So now we can start going out. I continue to do this. I've got this area, this area, this area. Now we've locked down this area. Great. We've got pretty much the whole north end of the county now locked down, right? Okay, well now let's take the county seat. Now let's do the same thing on the south. Before you know it, you've got individual militias all within a few minutes of each other, and they're they've taken up the whole county. Now you have a central head figure. Hey, you're now in charge of this county's militia. Congratulations, you overwatch all the smaller militias. These guys are all your captains or lieutenants. You're a freaking colonel now. Congratulations, good on you. Woo, high five. You're in charge of it all. I'm moving forward to the next county, and I'm going to do the same thing over there. But by the way, you're now the acting sheriff because the last one was a douchebag, and until such time as these guys can pacify the region, you're just going to kind of hold on. Once they do, then you're going to start your thing. You're going to hire deputies, and you're going to go back to the way it was for the most part. I mean, the laws are going to be a little different because we're not doing this kind of crap over here. We're going back to the Constitution, and thus there's a lot of laws that you won't have to worry about. But we're going to turn it back over into civil authority hands, and we're going to try to have some sense of normalcy in this county. You kind of understand how this is going to work now, how you can pacify the entire county, and you keep doing this and doing this and doing this till that bubble just spreads and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. A ground up movement. That's what this is. So what happens when I'm doing this here, you guys are doing it in New York. I've got clients in New York, I got clients in Nevada, I got clients in freaking Washington, all over the place. Well, what if we all started doing this? And eventually our buffer zones are going to hit each other. And how our area just doubled. How fast can we retake the nation once this all goes sideways? Don't wait. Don't be the lone wolf and just sit there and, oh, I've got mine, I'm just going to guard what I got. No. Here's a simple fact. I got 3,000 hogs in my hog operation right now. 3,000. How long is my feed going to last? When my tank's fully filled, it'll last me 2 weeks. I'm not the only hog farmer in this area. There's about 10 or 12 hog farmers in this area that I know personally that I've already talked to about this, and every one of them said the same thing. No, you're right. We got enough feed that if we're really frugal with it, we might can last 2 weeks. We go there and kill half of our livestock, we might can make it last a month. Okay, well, what good is that for you? Because chances are the company's out of business, and what are you going to do with 3,000 or 1,500 hogs? You can't eat them all, so why not are you using this to feed the locals so they can work protecting you? That'll take a lot of the hogs off of you, make your feed last a little bit longer, and it's a give and take relationship. So what are the other things that I'm telling these guys to guard? That's one thing I meant to mention to you. There's another particular thing I've told these guys you need to be guarding: the churches and the fuel stations, because the lifeblood of a farm is diesel fuel. And some of these guys have gasoline trucks too. They need to be able to, plus your QRF's going to need it, their QRF's going to need it. Guard the gas stations. That way they can't be destroyed. We still have that resource. It ain't going to last forever, but it'll last for a while. And once you've got all the gas out of it, then you can stop guarding it, because what's the point? The point I am making is the assets you have now are not going to last forever. The only way we can ease the burden off and continue to make these assets last longer is to continue to take turf. If you sit still, you have 20 years of food supply, well, you're only going to make it 20 years. A hot minute, but you're only going to make it 20 years. At the end of 20 years, you're screwed. Well, most people don't have 20 years. They have a month, 3 months, a year. How fast is that? And I'm guarantee you the food's going to go a lot quicker than you think it is. I got food supply for 20 years, and it's probably going to last 10. That's the way it is. So the faster you start pushing out and pacifying the areas, the faster that you can return to normalcy, the quicker you can start having commerce and exchange and barter and trade and this and that, and the more you can restabilize that region. The faster the farmers can go back to work, these people can go back to the slaughterhouses, these people can go back to planting food in the ground. These farmers are going to have seed, diesel fuel to put it in the ground, and fertilizer. Come spring, they're going to have to be able to access all that stuff, because if they can't, we're dead in the water. Take ground. Continue to push out and out and out and out. And also, vicariously, the further out you push, the further away from your house the contact is. Because now they have to get through all these other militias all around you before they can get to you. It's a Self-Preservation Act. So, take ground.